Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to a new episode in my discussion series, Consoles, Games, Collecting. We are now on to episode 9, and the topic for today's discussion is going to be all about collector's editions. And I'm going to let you guys know why I love collector's editions, why I enjoy having them in my collection, and just my general thoughts on them. Of course, I want to hear your guys' opinions, your guys' thoughts on this topic that we are going to discuss today. Feel free to leave a comment letting me know your guys' opinions, your guys' thoughts, and your guys' ideas and discussions about collector's editions. Let me know. Maybe there's something you guys like about them. Maybe you're someone that's not really big into collector's editions. Maybe you think they're overpriced and there's stuff about them you don't like. I would love to hear that from you guys. Let me know your guys' thoughts on today's topic. Now, maybe this is one of those topics, though, where you feel like a comment just won't do justice, so you'd have to write just paragraphs and paragraphs, and you feel that maybe this would be a topic that would be great for a video response. I would love to watch your guys' video response. I just asked if you do film a video response, let me know about it so that I can watch it, and then I will also post a link to your video response as a comment here on this video so other people can find it as well. I do appreciate anybody who has filmed video responses to my previous discussion videos. You guys are awesome, and I did appreciate checking those out. So if this is one of those videos where you guys feel like a comment just won't do it justice and you need to film a video response, I would love to check that out. So keep those coming. Do appreciate, and I do love interacting with you guys as well. So let's get started here talking about the topic of collector's editions. Now, me personally, I absolutely love collector's editions, and I think they're a great addition to any collection. Now, I do love video games. I am a big gamer, I understand that playing video games is what they are meant to be. They're meant to be played. They're not meant to just, sit around and collect dust on the shelf. But I've always had a collector's mindset as part of who I am as a gamer and a collector, and it's just something that's been instilled into me since I was a young child with my parents, as my dad liked to collect stuff around like chess stuff because my dad's really big into playing chess, but he also collected some Star Trek stuff. My mom has always been a big fan of the Lord of the Rings, and she likes to collect Lord of the Rings stuff, and they collected music CDs and movies and stuff. So I've always had a collector's mindset in my life, and that was because of my parents, and also a thrifting mindset as well, because my parents are the ones who actually introduced me to going to thrift stores when I was a child, and so they're the ones who made me fall in love with thrifting and collecting and stuff, and it's just something that I've always enjoyed. And so collector's editions are a great way for you to enhance the video games that you love and to get some neat bonus and extras in them. And that's why I love having collector's editions. Now, a lot of the collector's editions started out being real simple with just a few little extra things. And these days, they've gone very intricate where they're adding statues and all kinds of really cool pieces for collecting, because they do know that there's a lot of people who like to collect stuff and have things to display in their collection for their favorite series and stuff like that. So I will share with you guys a bunch of the different collector's editions that I have. But collector's editions, had started out, some of the earliest collector's editions that I own are actually for PlayStation 1. I have one here for Lunar Silver Star Story Complete. Comes with this really cool big outer box. Still has a little hang tab in the back. But you opened it up and it came with some really cool stuff, where it came with, includes 2 game CDs. You got a music CD, which is cool. So, you got to hear the music outside of the game. That was really phenomenal. Pop it in your CD player and you could listen to the music. You also get an exclusive making of Lunar CD. That's something too I really like in these collector's editions, is having those behind the scenes featurettes where you get to meet the developers, the publishers, and you get to get into the minds of the creators and to see how they came up with the concept art, they came up with the idea of the stories, and how much work it took, because video games take a lot of work and a lot of people, and the studios behind them have some really amazing and talented people, and so you get to see the behind the scenes of how they made the video game and the challenges they faced and the issues that came up while they were coming into producing the video game. And that's something I really love, being able to see those behind the scene featurettes. It also come with a 100-page leather hardbound art book / instruction manual. That's also something cool, and something I really love about collector's editions is when they come with art books and stuff, so you get to see that wonderful concept art and drawings and stuff that they came up with for the video games, and the characters and story and stuff. Really awesome. I love stuff like that. And then there's also a little excerpt from the official strategy guide included, so you got a little taste of what the strategy guide would be like if you got to buy it, and then a full color cloth map. So I do love that some collector's editions like this came with really cool cloth maps, and then some also came with pendants like the Lunar 2 that I have. Some games, came bundled with the bonus DVDs. They came bundled with bonus CDs and just all kinds of neat extras. And then they also started adding in digital content like little skins or extra maps or secret characters. They came with really rich, sweet stuff. And a lot of times in the early days, collector's editions weren't that much more expensive than the original copies were. Like, you got regular Halo 2 here. It was $50 at launch, and you could get the normal copy, or you could do like I did. It got the limited edition collector's edition for $10 more, and it came in this really sweet steelbook. And I remember getting this at the midnight launch. Mine's in really, really good condition, and I'm a big fan of steelbooks. That's another thing I love collecting, are steelbooks. But it was so cool because I had loved the first Halo, just absolutely blew me away. It's what made me fall in love with the original Xbox. Because I actually hated the original Xbox when it first came out, and I've told this story before, but Halo is what made me fall in love with the console. And I was extremely hyped when they announced Halo 2, and watching that E3 video was just awesome. Like, you can't describe it. Like, if you weren't there at the time when the original Xbox was out and the hype behind Halo 2, I mean, it was freaking amazing. And the midnight launch was awesome. And, when you have a series that you absolutely love, like I did with Halo, you have to get the collector's edition to supplement your love for the series. I even got the strategy guide and everything for it, and it was awesome getting this because it was just $10 more, came with an awesome steelbook, but you also got a 2-disc DVD set which included the making of Halo 2, behind the scenes of Bungie Studios, featurettes on game design, animation, music, and more, deleted scenes and outtakes, art gallery from concept to game, commentaries from the development team, and much more. I remember there was also a featurette on this that was really cool, where they were talking to fans and stuff about the Halo LAN parties, because the original Halo did not have Xbox Live support, where this did. This is the first time, like, hey, you're going to be able to play Halo multiplayer, but online through Xbox Live, and it was revolutionary for the time, and it was so amazing. But there was a cool featurette where people used to meet up at their houses. Everybody would bring their TVs and Xboxes. You would hook them up. I even used to go to some of these where you'd have LAN parties with buddies, and you'd hook up all these TVs together, and you all would play 16-player multiplayer battles, 4 people on an Xbox, and you'd have 4 Xboxes hooked up between 4 TVs, and you're all battling. It was amazing. And they had a featurette on here where some guy had a huge one at his house, and there was just tons of people everywhere, TVs all over the place, and they had a huge Halo party. And that's just something that I always loved having in these collector's edition, behind the scenes, seeing how they made the game, and the blood, sweat, and tears that go into making video games. And when you can see how someone who truly has a passion for their games, you're going to play a really amazing video game. And so this is one of those series that was really, damn it, sorry, I hate that, your train of thought gets lost, is a very dear to my heart series. and it's really special to me, and I have loved Halo ever since because it's what made me fall in love with the original Xbox and what made it my favorite console of all time. So I had to have the Halo 2 collector's edition. Now I know some people are maybe just not into the collector's edition because of the costs. You know, sometimes they had got up into the, they were like a real like 60, but they'd get into that 70, 80, $100, $200, $300, $400 range. There are some that have gotten ridiculously crazy, especially in modern times with modern gaming and the extras and stuff they have. But I've got another one here to share with you that I love that I got from Best Buy. And I wanted to pre-order this from GameStop, but they had sold out of pre-orders. So I went over to GameStop, which is across the street in another plaza. And lucky for me, they actually had 2 pre-orders left for it. And that was for the Fallout New Vegas Collector's Edition, because I absolutely love the Fallout series. I love the original Fallouts on the PC, but Fallout 3 was just an amazing game that blew my mind when I played that on the 360. Now, I didn't know how good the game was going to be, so I never pre-ordered the game, and I didn't get the collector's edition. I really wish I would, because that collector's edition is awesome, but very expensive these days and very hard to find. But that game made me fall in love with the Fallout universe even more than the original ones did for the PC. But, finally brought him into the whole 3D world, and it was just such an amazing game. So I knew Fallout New Vegas is going to be just as amazing as Fallout 3. And for me, Fallout New Vegas was even better than Fallout 3. And so I knew I wanted to get that collector's edition when they talked about it. And this came with some really sweet stuff. You got Caravan card set, which is really sweet. A Lucky 38 Platinum chip. You also got a making of the Fallout New Vegas DVD. And of course you got the game. You also got Lucky 7 poker chips. And you got a hardcover graphic novel, All Roads. Really awesome collector's edition. It came with stuff. I don't remember how much this one was now. It's been so many years. But this is one that I love having in my collection, as it's just something I really like, having the extra stuff with the games. And when you get like in-game manuals, you get little replicas of stuff. I do have some collector's editions that come with statues, which I think are amazing, because you have a really cool piece of a character, something to have on display. Now, I used to have my Marcus Phoenix statue out on display in my game room, but due to lack of space, I had to actually put him away and put him back in his box. But it was really awesome, because Gears of War was another of my favorite series of all time, and the collector's editions for Gears of War are some of my favorite in my collection. So I have always enjoyed collector's editions, because for me, they just really enhanced my love of series. So I had to get collector's editions for games that I really loved. Now I'm going to share with you guys here another one that's a really special piece in my collector's edition collection, as this was meant for displaying only, and the final product was a little different than this, and that is Gears of War 2 limited edition. But this is the for display only steelbook version, where GameStop and other retailers had these out so you could see what the collector's edition was going to look like. Now, if you guys have owned the actual collector's edition, you'll know that the steelbook was not in red, it was actually in gray, and it came with an outer box over it. Only the display copy was actually in red, and actually has the Xbox 360 Xbox Live logo up there, and will say for display only limited edition. Really sweet. And this came with the game. Now, I found this at my local game store for like $8, and it was just sitting in the spine, because I know the regular ones are gray, and as soon as I saw this, I knew exactly what they had. They did not know what they had, and it was price cheap. I think it was like $8 or something. I know it was under $10. Super excited to have this in my collection, as this is one of those games that I really love. And it was just awesome that they had even created some special steelbooks that were put out on display to tell you what the collector's edition was going to look like. It's basically like a little demo unit. Sometimes you would see stuff like this at E3, and different developers and stuff would have these sometimes in their videos, and like mock-up of what the what the collector's edition might look like, you know, for their announcement trailers and stuff. And so a lot of this promotional material was supposed to be destroyed or thrown away. Like the GameStop and stuff are supposed to get rid of these and not put them out for sale or anything like that, but some of them have made their way into the hands of collectors, and this one is an extremely rare and hard to find, so it's a very amazing piece in my collection. It's one that I love having because it's just something you don't see all the time, which also goes with my collecting mindset too, is why I've also have, you guys will see there's collectibles, you know, plushes and little collectible stuff in my collection. Is I like to have collectibles as well because they really enhance my collection, and I'm able to highlight some of my favorite characters and my favorite series and stuff. And so that's another reason why I'm drawn to the collector's edition, because you get such neat pieces in these collector's editions that don't just come in with the normal copies. You guys, we're going to take a look at some of the collector's editions that I do have, which I own a lot. And some are actually hiding behind others because of space, which I can understand too why some people don't like to get collector's editions, especially some of the big ones, which I'll show you guys, because they do take up a lot of room. But I just love having them, and they're just actually some of my favorite things. Like, I like collector's editions the most for video games over just regular plain copies, especially for some of my favorite series of all time. So let's take a look at some of them here in the game room. So we'll come up here where I do keep a lot of my collector's editions. Like, I've got the Halo Reach Limited Edition, Enchanted Arms, Aliens vs. Predator, collector's edition with a face hugger replica. That was awesome. I pieced that together. Mass Effects 2 and 3 collector's edition, Gears of War 1, Gears of War 2. We've got Halo 3, The Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion, Elder Scrolls series, and another one of my favorite series, Deus Ex, Killer is Dead. I've got Two Worlds 2, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, Chaos. Is that one Chaos Theory? What's the one's name? Conviction. I can't remember that one, but that's one of the collector's edition. Halo Wars, Dead Space 2. That came with a really sweet replica plasma cutter. The Alan Wake collector's edition. WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 Collector Edition, which was unique and exclusive to GameStop and EB Games. The Damage Inc. Collector's Edition, which came with a flight stick. Prototype 2, there's a Madden one. There's also one for Lego Harry Potter. Give me just a second here. Alright, yes, I just checked. That is Splinter Cell Conviction. I actually have two of the Collector's Edition. You know, what's really interesting is that came with a USB flash drive, but they were all broken. Not a single one of them ever worked. Something wrong with the files or something, on just something like unique in that. But now we'll get into some of the bigger collection editions. I told you they can take up some space. Like, there's a PlayStation 2 box for comparison. Here's one of my favorite ones up here, the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Collector's Edition. Now, this was one I had wanted to get back on launch date, but I had missed out on the opportunity to pre-order the Collector's Edition, so I decided I wasn't going to get the game itself pre-ordered, that I would just someday get the regular game on sale, because it just really bummed me out, so I never got it. Well, after the game had been out for a little while, I went to a GameStop location. It's actually still there. Still check it out sometimes. And I saw this up on the top, and I asked the lady, hey, how much is that? She's like, oh, I'm not sure. Let me get it down. She's like, because this was a pre-order that got canceled. This has been taking up space, and my boss wants to get rid of it, and we don't want it here anymore. And she's like, yeah, you can have it for $60. It's $60. It's brand new, never been used. We want to get rid of it because it's taking up space. Boom. I bought it for $60, brand new. Had to have it. It comes with a steel book. Pretty sure there was like an art book in there, and there is a big giant dragon statue. Amazing. Another one I got from there on clearance as well was this Elder Scrolls Online Imperial Edition. Comes with another cool statue. Very awesome. Got my Wolfenstein 2, the New Colossus, sealed for Xbox One. It comes with a Terrorbilly doll. I got that on clearance, brand new, for $30 from GameStop. Got this at the midnight launch, the Gears of War 3 Epic Edition, which comes with that sweet Marcus Phoenix statue, which I had on display for a long time. It also had all kinds of cool bonus materials, a flag, an art book, and some paperwork and stuff. Very awesome. I also have my Dark Souls 3 Collector's Edition, comes with this really sweet statue. Grand Theft Auto 5 Collector's Edition, which does the Xbox 360 version. My brother gave me his PS3 version. Now that's one of the Collector's Editions that really disappointed me, because it just came with like a hat and some bonus stuff. It wasn't really amazing. It wasn't awesome. Like the Grand Theft Auto 4 one came with like a bank display security box that was really awesome, but I was really disappointed in the Grand Theft Auto 5 Collector's Edition. Like, if I had known that that's what was going to come in it, I wouldn't have bought it, because it definitely was not worth the price I paid for it, but it's still a cool piece. I actually own 2 of the Aliens Colonial Marines. Now, I know that game got a lot of hate, but I have an absolute love for the Aliens universe. I like the game. Could it have been better? Of course, but I still really enjoyed it, and I got both of those Collector's Edition used for like under 20 bucks each. Amazing. Dark Souls 2 Collector's Edition, I bought brand new at my game store. They had it there for a while and marked it down, so I picked it up. I also got this 2 Worlds 2 Collector's Edition. The only thing was missing from this was literally like the outer sleeve, the Royal Edition, but it wasn't a huge deal. Another one I have here is the Fallout 4 Pip-Boy Edition, which was so amazing because the Pip-Boy you could actually wear on your wrist, and you could put your cell phone at the time, download the app, and it interacted with the Xbox One game, and you could actually see your in-game menu on your wrist as if you were a character in the game. So that was something that's really cool. Another one up here, really hard to find these days, is this Tony Hawk's Project 8 video game for the original Xbox Collector's Edition, exclusive to Target. That came with an actual skate deck, so you have a real skateboard in there. All you had to do was buy the wheels for it. Now that was something that was amazing and awesome. There's also a little collector's edition for this Real World Golf that came with this little golf thing you could swing. Another one I have up there is for Robotech Battle Cry Collector's Edition. Really amazing, really awesome. And now we'll get one that's like one of the largest ones that I have, and that is, which I do apologize for the lighting, is Cyberpunk 2077 Collectors. Come with a massive statue. I mean, look at the freaking size of that fucking thing. It's huge. So I can understand why people don't want to have collector editions like this, because they just take up a lot of space. And I know this game got a lot of hate, but I played it after the patches, and I absolutely love it, and I need to go back and beat it. And I got this for an amazing deal used at one of my local game stores. We'll move on to another area where I have more collector's editions. Alright, I do have to apologize if you guys have any lighting issues. It's kind of hard in this area. But here's some more ones I have, like the Killzone 3 Hellgast Edition. Love Killzone. Now, I do not have as many PlayStation collector's editions as I do my Xbox ones, because I always preferred the Xbox brand over PlayStation brand, but I still enjoy them. So I do have a few. I also have my Ni no Kuni 2 collector's edition, still sealed. I've never opened it yet. I will eventually open it when I want to play the game, but until then it stays sealed. And then I also have my God of War Stone Mason Edition, which I got on clearance, brand new and sealed at my local game store. I still have not played that new God of War game. I really want to. They actually had 2 different versions of the collector's edition. This came with some extra little stuff. Amazing game. I have this sealed. I'm going to leave it sealed, as it's one of my favorite series for PlayStation is God of War, and that's just one I had to have for my collection, but I want to leave it sealed and just leave it here. That's just a great display piece for me. We have over here, we have some other ones, like my Titan Quest Collector's Edition. Amazing game that an old PC game they ported for the Xbox One, the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 4. An amazing game. I also have a Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I do have my Batman Arkham Knight Collector's Edition, which I do have all of the Batman ones. It's just a couple of them are actually hidden behind my other collector's edition. And there's my newest one, my Halo Reach Legendary Edition I got for $50 with trade credit. And then I used $8 in trade credit to get the game. And then I bought the contents for the Legendary Edition for $10 from a game store. It only cost me $10. There's also a really cool Toki Retro Collector Edition, which I got those brand new. One was sealed, one was not, from GameStop for $5. My local game stores now have one, and they want $125 for it because it's hard to get. A couple more I have out. My Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception Collector's Edition. Love the Uncharted series, so I had to have that Collector's Edition. And then I've also got Max Payne 3. An amazing game. I wish we would get a Max Payne 4. That comes with a really cool statue of Max, and it's just an amazing collector's edition. Love having that. There's my Ninja Gaiden 3 collector's edition. I even have some Japanese collector's editions for the original Xbox that I got from a buddy. Very cool stuff. And then I forgot, down here I have my Batman Arkham Origins Collector's Edition on display. Another one that I love having is this Terminator Resistance Enhanced Edition. This is for PlayStation 5, so I actually do own a PlayStation 5 game. The Collector Edition was never made for any other consoles, and it was made by Limited Run, but it was not an actual Limited Run game. It just, they produced it because nobody else wanted to produce it. It was an amazing game. It's the best Terminator game I've ever played in my life. Highly recommend you guys play it. I had to get the collection edition. I think it was only like $50 brand new, but I had to have it in my collection. It's never being opened. It's always going to stay sealed, as it's a very special piece for me, and I bought it because I wanted to help support the developers, because they made this game as true fans of the series. They had a love for the Terminator franchise like I do, and it really shows in their game, and if you've never played it, you need to. So I had to have the collector's edition. You know, it's just something very special to me. Another one I have here is a cool original Xbox one, is this Contents Under Pressure. It's Mark Echo limited edition, which I had to piece together. Now, normally, the steel case thing isn't supposed to look like this. This is actually rusted. Just happens to these sometimes over the years. But personally, I love the way it looks, because this is a game about like graffiti and stuff. To me, this actually makes the collector's edition look even more amazing than it already was. Like, it just adds to it. You know, it just looks beat up and old and stuff. And I'm like, you know, I really like this, because I thought about like getting another one to replace it. But after seeing it on display, I was like, you know, I really like the way it looks. This looks amazing. This has character. You know, this looks like it's been through hell and back, and it just looks amazing and just really enhances a collector's edition. So I have it like that, and I'm not going to replace it. And then there's some other collector's editions and stuff that I have. There's a Call of Duty Ghost Hardened Edition, brand new and sealed. Look, it was $120 at the time. I didn't pay that. I think I paid $10 for my buddy Todd. Really cool, but gives you guys a little taste of some of the collector's editions. The lighting might be hard to see, but there's my Lunar 2 and my Arc the Lad collection. Very awesome stuff. Even have a PAL copy of Shenmue 2 collection edition for the Sega Dreamcast and some other Dreamcast ones and stuff. So I've always loved collector's editions. So give me a second to get you guys back here to focus. There we go. So you guys can see that I have a lot of collector editions, and I absolutely love them, and I just love the stuff that they come with. Now, I know not everybody's into them though, because sometimes they can be really expensive. It can be like $150, $200, especially the new ones these days. And I can agree that sometimes it's just not worth it for this bonus stuff they come with. Doesn't warrant the price. Like, you look down, okay, the game's $60, so there's that. What does it come with? Okay, it comes with an art book, and art books are usually $20 to $40. So, okay, so let's say it's for $40. That's $100 now. I can understand that price. But what actually comes with it? You know, is there enough to warrant the price? Like, oh, does it come with the season pass, which some of them do? You know, you get all the extra missions and future content and stuff. Okay, well, that usually sells for a bit, so that's worth it. But sometimes they don't come with enough stuff to warrant the price, and maybe like the Grand Theft Auto 5 one I talked about, with like a hat and a couple other little things. Like, nah, this isn't really worth the price I paid for. It was disappointing. But other ones, you know, they come with a statue, they come with a DVD, they come with little dice, or they come with some stickers, or like that Mark Echo one actually came with a pen, a little marker, a Sharpie that I actually have that still works, which is cool. So I like having those, and it's really neat too. It's nice to take those out of the box and actually put them out on display. Now I know some people are ones that don't like just having the collector's edition hang around. Sometimes they just want a couple of things from it, and they maybe don't really care about the collector's edition. Maybe like, the Fallout New Vegas, they got the cards out of it, and they actually wanted to use the cards and play with them, which is what they are meant to be. But me, I like to just keep them pristine and nice and just have it as a collector's piece. But, sometimes these were meant to be used. So, like, I know some people would actually play with the poker chips, or they'd play with the playing cards that they came with. I understand some people actually use their stuff. But for me personally, I like to just leave them pristine and mint because I like having them as a collector piece to look at, because I still have that collector mindset. I always will. As much as I love to play video games, I also like to collect them. It's just something that I have a huge passion for. And collector's edition are just such a great way for me to express that passion for games that I truly love, like the Halos and the Gears of War and the Elder Scrolls series, because my absolute favorite game of all time is the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, and it's a Game of the Year edition for the original Xbox, because it came with the game, and it came with the Tribunal and the Blood Moon, the expansion packs, which came with all the DLC and stuff for the original Xbox. Such a huge game. Put in hundreds and hundreds of hours, and I still haven't fully beat that game, and I've been playing it for like almost 20 years now of me playing that freaking game. It's that amazing. So I just love to have collector's edition because they just really enhance my collection, and I really enjoy them. But I can understand why some people don't like them, because again, as you guys can see, they do take up a lot of space, especially when you have a lot of them, and sometimes they're just not worth the price because they don't always come with stuff. And so I can understand it. I mean, there's even some collector's editions that I don't like this practice, but I've seen it with some series where you have to buy the collector's edition and the game doesn't even come with it, and they want you to pay $200 for just like collector's content. For me, like, not worth it for that price. There's a lot of these too I did not get day one, and I got them used from my local game stores for a lot cheaper than they were going for. Like, I got the Batmans for $50 a piece and got all 4 of the Batman games, because that's a series I love. Like the Batman Arkham games are some of the best Batman games ever created. The love that goes in there is just amazing. And I had to find the collector's edition. When I saw that they had them there at the local game store, I knew I had to take them home, and I made a deal with my buddy who worked there, hooked me up with a great deal on them, because I go there and I've been going to them forever. He hooked me up with a great deal last year, and I was really happy to add those into my collection, which I didn't show you guys my Arkham Asylum and Arkham City collector's edition because they're actually up top behind there. There's also a Mighty Number 9 and some other ones that I just didn't have room for them, so they're behind other collector's editions up top. Someday when I do get a new game room built and a more dedicated one, I do plan to have all my different collector's editions out on display. And if we run into where you can't always have them all out, I'll do some rotation and change up, because I'm always changing the game room and stuff. I get bored with like just the same look over and over, and so you will notice that my game room changes at time, and collect set pieces and stuff I have out on display. You'll see in my videos and stuff I will have out, like there's my Fable 3 limited collector's edition, which I picked up last year used. So for me, I've always loved collector editions. I just love them because they come with so much extra content. Some come with extra cosmetic stuff, like you'll have in-game weapons. Like I remember the Gears of War, you could have like gold weapons and like fire weapons and stuff. You get extra characters, sometimes extra multiplayer maps, sometimes you even get extra single-player content, either on the disc or as a code. So I've always loved collector's edition, and they're a very, very special part of my collection and something that I really love. Now, of course, I want to hear your guys' thoughts, though, about collector's edition. Do you guys like them? Do you think they're worth the price? Do you have any in your own collection? Did you get rid of parts of them? Did you maybe just keep a couple things from it and sell off the collector's edition or throw out the outer box? Maybe you think they just aren't worth it and you only buy the regular plain copy, which I've done for some series just because, I'm like, yeah, the collector's edition would be nice to have, but it costs way too much money, and I'm not going to spend that kind of money on the game when I'm just going to get the regular copy. I would love to know your guys' thoughts on this topic. Like I said, feel free to leave a comment or if you would like to film a video response, you can do that as well. I would love to check it out. Just let me know about it so I can check out your video, and I will post a link to your video as a comment so other people can check it out. I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. You guys have an amazing day, and Sleepy will see ya next time.